Welcome to the web mobile project. So basically I have an image in here in Photoshop of Cal State East Bay map and SSU, where I graduated with my BFA, Sonoma State. So each of these maps, they have these really cool sort of graphic, I can zoom in a little bit. These are low resolution, but they have these cool graphics of sort of a layout of the map, and we're going to create our own kind of world. Now you can use a real area to map out or an imagined one. It can be total fantasy. But today we're going to explore how to create sort of a vector-based sort of tree that you could bring into Photoshop in texture, or you can just simply paint in Illustrator. But here's just a couple examples. These are sort of more from aerial views, and this is more of a 3/4 kind of view. So I'm going to switch over to Illustrator here, and I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to go File, New, and this new document window has popped up on my other display. I'm just going to move it over here. I'm going to choose the print 19 by 13 by 300, and I'm going to choose the horizontal view, not the vertical. So click Create, and I got this on my stage here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose File, Place, not File, Open, to have a reference. It's very important to have photos that are not embedded in your image. So by using the place command, it's really good. You can find images of your own, obviously, if you have trees. And then, of course, pexels.com is a great source. I have this photo of crop from an image I took in Rome, Italy, a few years ago. And once you click place, you basically have this little placeholder, and until you click, and then voila, it's here in the scene. Now the main thing about this is you don't want to move the photo from wherever its current location is once you save this document out. The way links work, basically you don't want to move it around. If you move it around, you break the link, and your image here won't be here by the next time you open up Illustrator. So I think I will scale it down a tiny bit. I'm going to grab a corner, just hold shift, just to scale it down just a tiny bit there, and then click enter to accept, or yeah, and then I got this little move window that popped up on my other display, so I just click OK, and there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first dim this a little bit. I'm going to double click on the layer, and you can check this little box that says dim to 50%. I'm not going to dim it that much. I'm going to dim it maybe to 65% and click OK, because it's a pretty light image. And then I'm going to lock it by clicking on the lock symbol between the eye here. And I'm going to add a new layer. And then we're going to start off with actually the top of this tree. We're basically going to do this tree here. So the top here is what I'm going to deal with. And I'm going to use the pencil tool. So it has the hotkey of N, but it's with these other tools here. I'll hold the mouse down and bring it out. And it's this guy here, the pencil tool. And the way it works, you can it's kind of like the the lasso tool in a way. You can basically freehand draw these little guys. I'm not following exactly. I'm just trying to get lots of little bumps as I come around. And you can have less or more depending on, how far you want to go with this. It doesn't have to be absolutely exact because this is an illustration of the tree. Notice I added a little bit there just to make it a little bit different. This is just a reference, so once I get close enough to the end here, we'll see it here. So when I get to the end, you should see a little circle that basically connects. If it doesn't quite connect, just release, and it'll be okay, because once you select it, you can give it a fill, and I'll give it this fill, this dark green here, and it will still fill in even though it's not completely connected to full path here. It still works out pretty well. Now I may want to modify this, might want to add some holes in it so to erase, but right now I can't really see it because it's 100% opacity. So let's click up here and drop the opacity of the layer a little bit, maybe around 39%, just so it's easier to see. And then I'm going to use the eraser tool, which has the hotkey of Shift E. So here it is, the eraser tool. Go ahead and tear out the little bar here. And what I want to do is shrink down the brush size quite a bit. I'm using my left bracket on my mouse, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. And I'm just going to come in here and kind of just erase some, little blobs where the opening here just to add a little bit more realism, right, where the light sort of breaks through. And again, this isn't the perfect or anything. We're not going for full realism here, but I think it's appropriate to do this, as an illustration. You can do this too. I am kind of not liking this little bit here. It's a little too wavy, kind of like a what do you call it? A kind of like a hair thing. So if you find any edges that you're not crazy about, you can go around and kind of erase back, like this edge here. I'm not crazy about. I think that's a little better. Illustrator does smooth things out, so it gives you these sharper points. So if anywhere you have an area where it's too sharp, you can kind of knock it back a little bit. And I'm not crazy about this sort of wave quality that happens sometimes that gives you like a Superman haircut kind of wave thing. So I'm just going to come back in and kind of, mess it up a little bit, erase back anywhere where I want along here. That looks pretty good. I'm not crazy about this little wave here, this little bit here. I think overall I'm starting to like this, maybe along here a little bit, just kind of mess it up a little bit. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and select it again and bring up the opacity and take a look. So that looks pretty good. Let's zoom out here. I'll click the Z key and zoom out, and I pretty much like that. That looks pretty good. Now in the next tutorial I'm going to show you how to do the branch with a different tool, but this is a basic introduction on how to create a tree in Illustrator for a mobile map. Until next time, see you soon in Adobe Illustrator CC. Cheers!